Hey guys, it's Jess, and I am here today with my September wrap-up. September for me was a really good month. I read 9 books, which I'd like to think is probably the most I've read all year. I could be wrong, but I think it's the most books I've read in a month all year. I started this month off by reading You Have 7 Messages by Stuart Lewis. This story follows a young woman, young girl, teenage girl, whose mother has been killed in a car accident, and she finds her phone at her art studio, and she starts to discover all this stuff about her, gets into contact with people she didn't know before, or people she's lost touch with, who were really close to her mother. It was an interesting story. I was not in love with it, but it wasn't bad either. After that book, I did host a Labor Day readathon, which went from the Friday before Labor Day through to the Monday of Labor Day, and during that time, I read 5 books, 4 books and 1 graphic novel. The first of those was Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I am letting someone else borrow this right now, so I don't have it on me. Second, I read Born of Illusion by Terry Brown. I love this cover. It is so pretty. This is about the illegitimate daughter of Harry Houdini, her experience with that, and how she started to kind of learn who she was and what she could do. This is the first in a series. I was not in love with it, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to pick up the second in the series. I'm not committed. I have plenty of other books to read right now that do not involve picking the second of these up. Third, I read Rise of the Horde by Christy Golden. This is a World of Warcraft novel, and it is probably one of my favorites. It's the first one I read, and it was a reread, which is one of the challenges for that readathon. So I reread that. Then I finally picked up Saga Volume 1, and oh my gosh, this was so good. I'll link my review down below of my entire readathon wrap-up, but this is one of the books that I was so excited about. I loved this graphic novel, and every time I go to Barnes & Noble, I see if they have the second one, and I never ever find it. And so I will continue that hunt because it's so good, and I need more of Saga in my life. And the last book I read for the readathon was The Moon and More by Sarah Dessen. I actually was not the biggest fan of this book. It was okay, a lot like the other books that I read. It was just so-so. It was longer than I thought it should have been, and the plot kind of lulled in a lot of places for me. But, it was a Sarah Dessen book, and it was the last in there. My 2 favorite books that I read from the readathon were Red Queen. Oh my god, I did not talk about when I showed you it. It was so good. I thought I had read the same story over and over, like fortunate girl gets put into a situation where she has to be queen or she has to play some royalty role, but this was like a whole nother level for me. I adored Red Queen. I absolutely adored it, and I cannot wait for the next one to come. Cannot wait. After my readathon, I did read a couple more books, certainly not as much as I had read to begin with. The first one was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I think it's Maas. I don't think it's Maas. I could be wrong. This book was so not what I was expecting. When I first started it, I was expecting this amazing story of this amazing heroine who just knocks it out of the park, and she's just phenomenal, like Hello Idol kind of phenomenal, because that's what you hear about on BookTube. And I was so disappointed. Not to say that she is not an awesome character and she isn't cool. She is. It's just so incredibly slow. It took me over halfway through this book to get into it. I already have all the sequels, so I have no choice but to continue. But I am not going to lie, I probably would have passed otherwise. So I'll keep going and I'll let you know. Hopefully next month I can read the next one. The next book I read was The Martian by Andy Weir, and oh my god, this book, you guys. I'm currently letting someone borrow it, and that's why I have it on e-copy, but it is so good. I'm going to post a full review later this week about The Martian, but it is phenomenal. It's amazing. If you haven't picked it up, pick it up. The movie comes out this weekend, and I will be seeing it, but the book, phenomenal. Mark Watney, the character, is just so relatable, so funny, and it takes a certain level of hilarity and science and just melds them so perfectly together that you just feel for this character the entire time. I loved it. I cannot wait to go see the movie. I hope the movie does the book justice, because the book is amazing. Go pick it up if you haven't. And the last book that I actually finished was Stolen by Lucy Christopher. And I struggled with whether I was going to do a book review on this or not, and I've decided that I'm going to. Because I finished this book with such conflicted feelings that I didn't even know what was going on. This story, if you're not aware, follows a young teenage girl, I believe she's 16, who gets kidnapped while she is in an airport by a man who's been stalking her since she was 10. And you follow her story. It's told through first/second person. It's addressing the actual kidnapper and stalker, and it is so interesting. Lucy Christopher does this amazing thing where in the beginning you hate this man. You hate him and hate him and hate him. And by the end, you start to feel a little sympathy. You start to understand why the main character does what she does, acts like she does. And it is so impactful. I am really impressed with what this book did to me and how this book made me think about what we hear all the time on the news and how we miss out on the second half of the story a lot of times. I do recommend this. Do know that it's not action-packed. It's not action, action, action. There's a lot of, personal thoughts. There's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of extra in there. But if you're willing to sit through it, I think the experience of the ending is completely worth it. If you disagree or agree, let me know down below. I'm really interested. And then the book I'm reading now, but I will not finish, is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I'm going to end up finishing this in October. I'm reading it for the Slay That series readathon, which I've linked to my TBR to down below. So if you're participating in Slay That series, let me know down below. Link your video, share the love. So there we go. There is my September wrap-up. I will post my October TBR here in the next couple days. I am prepping for NaNoWriMo, so October is going to be kind of full of what I think I'm going to write about come NaNoWriMo, as well as some nonfiction, because I need some in my life right now. I'm a little too indentured in fantasy for me to enjoy reading regularly, so I need some more nonfiction. Let me know what you read this month down below. If you have a September wrap-up, link it down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!